welcome to Life After Baby. I'm your host, Leslie Hudson. From bottles to books, diapers to dorms, and everything in between, each week I interview parenting experts to help me navigate life as a new mom. Today's guest is Hallie Steinberg, owner of Hallie's Healthy Living and a Dr. Sears Certified Health Coach. She's a mom to 3 girls, ages 8, 13, and 15. She helps individuals and families achieve their wellness goals at home, work, school, and everywhere in between through individual coaching, customizable group workshops, lunch and learns, and lectures. Thanks for joining me today, Hallie. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thanks. I am a certified health coach and a mom. So I tried to tie those things all together. My background's actually in biology, so I absolutely love science and human anatomy. And I then am also a special ed teacher. So I'm able to incorporate all my background with my love of inspiring healthy living. So it's all about, for me, helping people to reach their health goals no matter where they are.
That's great. So what exactly is a Dr. Sears Certified Health Coach? Or who is Dr. Sears?
Okay, Dr. Sears is a very, very well-known. He's been around for 40 years, longer than that now. He's a pediatrician. They actually call him the America's pediatrician because he's written so many books about how to take care of baby, how to take care of mom. And I love his philosophy, especially for working with families, because I love working with families, of treating people holistically, looking at all their aspects of their health and wellness, not just nutrition, but their lifestyle, their attitude, all these things that make up health and wellness. And he's all about whole foods, which is completely what I believe in. So I just love his philosophy. So I joined his institute, and that's where I got my certification. And I'm specialized to work with families, pregnant ladies and nursing moms, as well as prime timers, which are people that are preparing for their later years in life. Different parts of your life, you live a different way. You know, in terms of just nutrition, when you are pregnant, you're supposed to eat certain foods. And when you're not pregnant anymore, and let's say you're nursing or postpartum, you're supposed to eat other types of foods or additional foods. And so where you are in terms of pregnancy alone, it just decides just nutrition, what you should be focusing on. But not only that, just how you feel, how your body changes, how you mentally feel, all these changes are constantly happening. And being a mom is such an amazing experience, but not only is it an experience for you and your baby and your relationship, but it's experience for you as a person and how you grow mentally, physically, and in so many ways. So making sure that you take care of yourself, once again, through that lifestyle, through your mindset, and really taking care of yourself, that self-care is so important. And so yes, as a mom, it's such a special part of our life, especially a new mom, but there's so many changes that a lot of people don't know about. So for instance, when I actually I'm a mom of 3, as you mentioned, and I didn't really know about some of these amazing things that I've learned about as a health coach until more recently. And every time I learned something new, I'd say, oh, why didn't I know that? Or, oh man, if only I'd known. And, looking back, yes, you can hindsight, you can always look back, but still, some of these things are so simple and they make so much sense. And that was so much fun for me while I was learning to say, oh, I could have done that. Or, oh, this natural remedy might have helped me more than something else. And it's just this whole education component that I never had that I wish I had. And that's partly why it inspired me to work with pregnant ladies and nursing moms, prenatal, postnatal, because I just didn't know these things. It wasn't taught to me, even in some of the classes I took. So it's been really fun for me. And I really hope that I can inspire people and educate them for really what I didn't get.
Absolutely. And that's part of the inspiration I've had for this podcast, because, I feel like there's so much fabulous information out there that it starts from, the minute the baby is conceived up till delivery when it comes to mom's healthcare and how to take care of mom, but then it immediately switches as soon as you deliver to how to care for the baby. And I took classes, I read stuff, but I still was floored by adjusting to postpartum life. And kind of like you said, my daughter actually just turned 1 last week, and I'm weaning off breastfeeding. And of course, I just discovered last week, like a new stretch for my pecs and like new exercises I should be doing. And so I totally understand that, oh man, I wish I knew about this a year ago kind of thing. What are the common misconceptions you hear when it comes to nutrition and healthy living for both pregnant women and postpartum and nursing moms?
Well, a lot of people will say, oh, eat for two. You know, I need to eat for two. And that's not necessarily the case. Actually, for pregnancy, you know, they say usually about 300 to 500 extra calories a day. And I'm not one of those types of coaches that really focus on calories at all. That's not really where my focus is on. But it just shows you that we're not really eating for two. And it does not also mean to eat whatever you want. It really is so important to eat, especially if you add on maybe another meal or two, or, you know, extra couple snacks, to make them nutrient dense. And really the quality of your food is so important. And that's really what I try to coach people about, is the types of foods that are so important, whether you're pregnant or postpartum or nursing, that although that we might need more food, it doesn't mean we need more junk food, first off, but also we maybe don't need as much as we think we do. And I always say, I'm not, like I said, I'm not one to count calories or say how many proteins we need in grams. And yes, I absolutely know the amount that, you know, we could, but each person is an individual. And I just like to focus on, if we eat the real foods, the whole foods, the foods that are not processed, that don't have all the ingredients with all the words that we don't know how to read, let's say, if we focus on those whole foods, then we're doing the right thing, because that's really what our body needs. Our need nutrition, very nutrient dense food, but not necessarily the amount that, you know, eat for two. So that's just one thing I find that, especially as a mom, you know, when I was pregnant, that was hard, you know.
Yeah. And one thing, again, I learned after I was pregnant, I didn't realize that, like you said, you know, it's important to add the right things, that even, you know, certain times in your pregnancy, like you may need some, you know, you should be adding, like, is it avocado more in the beginning? And you should be adding different types of foods and protein, and you should be adding different things throughout your pregnancy, depending on what stage you're at.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for instance, like when you're pregnant, you want to really focus on the calcium, the iron, folic acid, or folate. Folic acid is the synthetic form of folate, those types of things. And then when you're nursing, you really want to focus on omega-3s, which is an essential fatty acid that we need, especially for brain and vision growth for your baby if you're nursing. But also, if you're not nursing, regardless, for the mom, omega-3s are so important because they actually help prevent depression, postpartum depression. So omega-3s are so important. Also making sure we have those zinc foods, as well as also the calcium. So some of these things, you know, whether you're breastfeeding or not, these are important things for moms. Also, I always say, with every meal or snack, you really want to have some form of a protein, because it'll help stabilize your blood sugar. And protein in particular for babies when you're nursing, or for you when you're pregnant, is it helps with repair. And for your baby, if you're nursing, it helps with muscle growth, muscle repair, things like that. So that's so important. And you want quality protein. Just the same thing about fats. You want quality fats. You know, there's many different types of fats. We want to stay away from hydrogenated fats or trans fats, which are actually very unhealthy, whether you're pregnant or not. But we want more.
Is that like the margarine? Is that like the margarine butter?
Yes. Like if you think of shortening or lard, those are hydrogenated. Yep. But interesting enough, a lot of our food products have trans fat added in. So we want to be aware of those things. We want to stay away from high fructose corn syrup, whether we're pregnant or not. These are just some things that we really want to watch. We also want to watch, especially if we're pregnant, anything with a number in the ingredient, any kind of artificial flavoring, coloring, preservatives like that, because they affect not only you, but your baby. And even if you're nursing as well. But generally, let's say you're not nursing and you're postpartum, you want foods that are going to make you feel good, foods that are going to help you repair your body, heal your body. So once again, you want to stick with those real foods. We want to stay away from the hydrogenated oils, the high fructose corn syrups, anything with that artificial flavoring, coloring, sweeteners. Stay away from those diet sodas because you really are recovering. So your body needs to be working at the best. And you're also going to be limited in your sleep. You're going to be emotionally going through ups and downs. Your hormones are going crazy. So you really want to make sure your nutrition is sound so that you can kind of offset some of these other unbalanced parts of your life right now. I always say omega-3. I mean, omega-3s are so important during pregnancy, but postpartum, they're so important. And they're finding more and more research about how it affects postpartum depression and things like that, omega-3 deficits. And omega-3 is not difficult to get. So for instance, if you eat wild Alaskan salmon twice a week, let's say a good 6 ounces, that's a good, amazing source of omega-3. It's probably one of the best sources out there. Now I say wild Alaskan because you want to try to get away from the farmed because of the mercuries and the plastics and some of the contaminants in fish. So that's a great source, or if you have to supplement. But I always tell everybody that I work with that no matter what you do, let's say if you do take an omega-3 supplement of some sort, you always check with your medical practitioner because they are the ones that are your experts. And so you always check with anything you do with your doctor first.
That makes total sense. And so like pregnancy, are there different things people should be eating, say for moms that are 6 months out, a year out? Should they be doing anything else aside from what you just talked about eating wise?
Well, yeah. So there's definitely, you want to focus on proteins and you want to make sure you're getting those amino acids. We have 9 essential amino acids and we get our amino acids, complete proteins from our meats, dairies, things like that. And then there's the incomplete proteins, which we get from plant-based when you eat combination foods. So for instance, rice and beans becomes a complete protein, but plants in general are incomplete protein. So protein is super important, especially in the 2nd and 3rd trimester. Carbs are amazingly important in terms of an energy source. What you want to focus on complex carbs to make sure that you have that fiber. So it helps with your satiation. It makes you feel full, but also that it helps stabilize your blood sugar. So having a simple carb, let's say a piece of white bread versus a whole grain bread, you're going to have a spike in your insulin with the white bread versus a whole grain bread, which is going to be more stabilized. So you want to focus on the complex carbs, which are important throughout pregnancy. And then fats are very important, especially as you go through pregnancy, omega-3s in particular, for your baby's vision and brain development, and the nervous system as well. And for you, the fats as a mom are great for energy as well as your own brain health. And they help absorb vitamins that are fat soluble vitamins. So fats are important as well. But remember, I always say the healthy fats. So once again, you want to stay away from the trans fats. You want to stay with the unsaturated fats and some saturated fats in moderation. So saturated fats are more like the dairies, the meats, those are saturated fats. And we still need saturated fats. We just have to moderate them. Whereas the unsaturated fats, like the avocado that you mentioned, the olive oils, the salmon, the flaxseed, these are things that are fantastic for you throughout pregnancy for anyone, anytime. And they're so important. In terms of calcium, I mentioned that before. It's super important for not only your baby's development, but for your own heart health, your muscles and nerves. It helps your blood to clot during whether you're pregnant or not. So these are just some of the things that your body needs extra of when you are pregnant. So you actually need double the amount of calcium. But in great sources, and if you don't eat milk, like I can't have milk, so I get my calcium from other food sources. I get it from broccoli. I get it from kale. You can get it from almonds, soy. So there's a lot of sources of food-based calcium, but calcium is so important when you're pregnant. And iron, of course. Iron, you want to make sure that it basically makes your hemoglobin, which makes your red blood cells, which we need, and we want to make sure we're not anemic. And so there's different types of iron. There's iron that is absorbed, or heme iron, and then there's some iron that's not as absorbed as well. It's called non-heme, and those are plant-based. So iron is very important. And then one of the most important things when you're pregnant, and this is throughout, is folic acid. So folic acid is, once again, the synthetic form of the vitamin B, folate. So I am a big proponent of having folate through food sources. So great sources of folate are spinach, asparagus, green peas, broccoli, avocado. You can get a breakfast cereal that's fortified. So these are actually, lemon peel is a source of folate. Some of those raw leafy vegetables, beans and grains, and some citrus. So folate is extremely important for basically keeping or hopefully eliminating neural tube defects, as well as decreasing congenital central nervous system issues, spinal issues like spina bifida, things like that. So folate or folic acid is extremely important. That's why prenatal vitamins always have a good source of that. But once again, you can use that through food sources as well.
Makes total sense. So I personally went kind of crazy when it came to nesting. I think probably like a month before I was due, I made quiche, I made spinach roll-ups, I packed my freezer with little oatmeal breakfast cookies because I really wanted to make sure that I had stuff on hand, which actually worked out really well, because not only did I need a lot of iron-based foods, I was kind of limited in my cooking beyond just normal childbirth. So what if people are 8 months pregnant and nesting, what are some of the things you recommend that people kind of prepare, either freezer or stock in their pantry, for postpartum life?
Well, that's great. Well, I think I'm all about eating the rainbow of colors. So fruits and vegetables in particular have things called phytonutrients, which is basically a plant nutrient. And it's your antioxidants that you get from each color. So every fruit and vegetable has different colors. You're going to get the reds, the greens, the purples, the oranges, the yellows. So eating a variety, whether you're pregnant or not, is important. But when you're pregnant or when you're nursing, it's extremely important to get all those colors of the rainbow. So I am a big proponent of making sure you're getting those fruits and vegetables, those complex carbs, as well as those proteins. So that's really what, based on your own preferences. Some people love to do casseroles. Some people like to do lasagnas with putting in the spinach, that, some of the things that you mentioned, making sure you're getting those colors, adding in some vegetables with that, maybe putting some lean meats in there. You want to have things that will have protein sources, if you're a vegetarian, you of course want to get those vegetarian sources to make sure you complete those incomplete proteins, but having a lean source of meat. You want to stay away from those processed foods. So like I said, anything that you like to eat, the casseroles, things that freeze. So you can get creative, but my suggestion is to make sure you've got those proteins, the complex carbs in, you want those healthy fats, and you really want to kind of stay away from those processed foods and get those fruits and vegetables in, eat those colors.
Great. Well, I am very hungry now after talking about food for so long, but we actually have to take a quick break, and we will be right back after a word from our sponsor. A Taste of Olive carries high-quality extra virgin olive oils, balsamic vinegars, and gourmet goods from artisans around the world. They have 2 locations, in Chestnut Hill and Westchester, Pennsylvania. You can also find recipes, shop, or find more information at www.atasteofolive.com. Use the coupon code FAMILY for 10% off your order. Happy cooking! Welcome back to Life After Baby. I'm your host, Leslie Hudson, and I'm here with Hallie chatting about how we can take care of ourselves as moms when it comes to eating, nutrition, and healthy living. So as a health coach, you offer a lot of different services, and nutrition is just a tiny little ingredient on your plate. So what are some of the other things that you offer for pregnant and new moms and moms throughout and moms in general?
Yes. So I focus on the 4 pillars in health and no matter what I do. So the 4 pillars are the LEAN acronym, and that stands for LEAN. L for lifestyle, E for exercise, A for attitude, and N for nutrition. And I know we talked a little bit about nutrition, but I really try to take a holistic approach to look at all those 4 things and focus on that. Now, whether we're talking about a pregnant lady, a nursing mom, or whether I'm working with a family, I really try to focus on those 4 components that make up health and wellness. So we talked a little bit about nutrition. One of my favorite things to talk about is lifestyle and attitude as well. So for instance, lifestyle would be something as important as how much water you drink every day. So when you're pregnant or not pregnant, anybody, you need to have at least half your body weight in ounces of water. So for instance, if you weigh 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water every single day. And when you're pregnant and your blood volume is raising, it's up, and you sometimes feel bloated, you really need even more water. And then when I say water, I'm not talking about caffeinated beverages. I'm talking about actual water. So that's a important lifestyle change that we really need to focus on as a pregnant mom or a nursing mom. So water, also just exercise, how you move your body. Even though you're pregnant, we still need to move our body. We still need to stretch, especially getting prepared for the birth of our baby. And then especially after our baby is born, we need to make sure we're stretching. We need to do all those wonderful pelvic floor exercises, especially, and I learned this way too late, after your baby is born. There's so much information out there nowadays about pelvic floor and exercises for postpartum. I did not have that when I was pregnant with all 3, or did not know about it. So that is something that I definitely recommend. My suggestion is always to get your body moving, whether it be to take a walk, whether it to be play with a toddler that you have or another child, or vacuum. Whatever it is that feels good on your body, you move your body. That's super important. So that's also a lifestyle and exercise component. But attitude, I think, also is so important. Attitude is how we view our life, how we view our bodies, how we view our persona, our mindset. And so much of pregnancy and being a new mom is our schema, our view of things is shifted. We're someone that especially a new mom who's never been a mom before, it's changed. You're not the same person. You don't know if you'll ever be the same person again. And so your self-esteem is affected, how you function, how you think, everything is affected. So I work a lot on attitude and how you really make sure that you're feeling positive, know that you might make mistakes, but being okay with it, and take care of yourself. And basically come from a place of love, self-love, and understanding, listen, there's no perfect mom out there. You're going to make mistakes. We're going to make tons of mistakes. And that's a part of being a mom. And just being okay with that and kind of letting it go. So we work a lot on attitude as well. And now you asked in terms of what I work with people. I work individually or I do group sessions. And for pregnancy, we do a 3-session group. And it basically prepares, the first one's called Prepare Right Now. It's preparing for being pregnant or while you're pregnant. We focus on those 4 pillars, what you need to eat, how you need to move, what you need to do when you're pregnant, attitude, all of that. And then we also, the next session is the Eat Right Now, where we really focus on the nutrition of pregnancy. And then the third one is the Live Right Now. And that's basically postnatal. What happens when your baby's born? How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of the baby? How do I ask people for help? We talk about the 7 baby B's, and I can just quickly list them. It's really cool. There are 7 baby B's, and they're called birth bonding, breastfeeding, baby wearing, bedding close to baby, believe in the language value of your baby's cry, beware of baby trainers, and balance and boundaries. So all of these are ways that you deal with being a new mom and deal with your relationships in your life. And it's just a great way of helping moms, especially new moms, navigate this new part of their life.
Like we were saying earlier, that sounds like that would have been the perfect thing for me to look into while I was nesting.
Right, and really that TLC, we have to make sure we spend time, even though we're feeding and sleeping when the baby's sleeping, if we can, but to take a few moments of the me time, even schedule time to be with friends so that you have that social connection or schedule time to make a call with a family member, and know that, bottom line is everything's new, everything's scary, but you're the expert, you're the mom. So although people are going to give you advice and tell you what to do, you got to go with your gut. And you are going to make some mistakes. Everybody does, but ultimately your maternal instincts will know what to do. And you're always going to be thinking of the best for your baby, and you'll know what to do. It's just believing in yourself and also forgiving yourself if you do make mistakes. These are all things that you never think of until after you have a baby and your world has shifted so drastically.
So I know you mentioned that, you offer a lot of different things. I saw also you have services for families as well. What tips do you have as far as, people's pantry and grocery shopping?
Oh, I love talking about this. And because I really think it's because my love of teaching and being a special ed, elementary ed teacher, I love working with families, and I love educating kids just to have them understand, they can make different choices. So one of my favorite things to do is the pantry makeover. And that's a lot of fun, where I go into someone's house and we basically go over the ingredients, their products that they have in their pantry, their refrigerator, and their freezer. And we go through something called traffic light eating, which is a really great program where it's so simple and just so easy, especially for kids. And we go over green light foods, yellow light foods, and red light foods. And basically, in a nutshell, green light foods are all your fruits and vegetables. Yellow light foods are your complex carbs, lean proteins, complex carbs, lean proteins, healthy fats. So those are foods that you still need every day, but you need to eat in more moderation. And the red light foods are the sugary foods, the foods with artificial coloring, the flavoring, hydrogenated fats, white flour, those types of foods. And those are foods that you want to stop and think and really eat very few or infrequently. So we go over that. We have fun. We actually put stickers on all the different foods in the pantry, decide what kind of food they are. And then I also teach a lot about label reading, but very simple for kids in particular. But this is just such a neat tool. I never even knew this until more recently. I became a health coach. But when you're picking a cereal, there's such an easy way of choosing some of the best cereals. So we call it the 3-6-3 rule. And that's basically when you look at your ingredients, you want to make sure you have at least 3 grams of protein, less than 6 grams of sugar, and more than 3 or more grams of fiber. So that 3-6-3 rule right there eliminates many of the cereals out there. So the kids and I and the families, we go over and decide, oh, is this in the 3-6-3 rule? And we talk about different choices that we can make. And it's just so much fun. And then we make shopping lists and we talk about how to shop in a grocery store and perimeter shopping in a grocery store and things like that. So it's just a lot of fun. I'm all about interactive games, interactive learning. And that's really what I like to do.
Do you also advise them about like meal planning and kind of figuring out menus and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I help coach them to help them choose the menu. So I do a lot of education, and then we coach and we go over plans, things that they like, because each family is different. Some people have health needs, some people have allergies in the family. So we really have to make an individualized approach. And what I do is I tell people really what they need in terms of the fruits and vegetables, the lean proteins, the complex carbs, the fats. And then we go as a partner, as a team, we work on, and basically I'm just coaching them and helping them, and we make a meal plan together. And then we also make shopping lists to help with that meal plan so you can prepare for that as well.
So I saw on your website that you serve Chester County, Montgomery County, Delaware, and Bucks County. And I would imagine and that looks a lot different during quarantine times. I know you mentioned you go in people's homes with pantry makeovers and stuff like that. So what does that kind of look like?
Yes, it's very different world that we live in right now. So yes, in the past, I've always done individual or group sessions. That is definitely different. So what I've done is I've taken it online. I do either online phone call, online virtual through Zoom, or I do phone consultations and phone calls. I do free phone consultations to anybody. So that's always been available. It's just not in person at this point. So yeah, I've just taken it more online, virtual. But I also do, recently, last week, I just did a wellness webinar. I just did a free webinar on Zoom, and I record those so that I have a library of different resources I can share with people. I can't really do lunch and learns right now, but unless it's virtual. So yeah, it's just been changed, but it's still same information. It's just not quite as personal. I can't really go into your pantry unless it's virtual, but yeah, it's different. But I'm all about being innovative, and I'm having a lot of fun. One of the things that I've mentioned, I actually didn't mention this yet, but I'm a big gardener. I'm a very big proponent of growing your own fruits and vegetables. And one of the things that I have through the Juice Plus company is a tower garden. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love. It's an indoor aeroponic garden. So you can grow fruits and veggies inside your house. And mine happens to be in my basement. So, being innovative, people are seeing the need for some of those innovative gardening techniques or tools. So that for me a lot of people have sparked interest in that. So I've been doing a lot with my tower gardens recently, and that's been fun. So helping people garden, I work with a lady in Connecticut. I worked with a man in New York recently, and they're all now urban farmers. We call ourselves urban farmers. So just kind of being innovative and still promoting health and wellness, just in different ways.
We are going to move into our last segment. It's called Parent Pop Quiz. And life with kids is unexpected, and so are the questions in this segment. So we are going to spin our wheel and see what question we land on.
Oh boy.
What is one thing that needs to be invented to make parenting easier?
One thing that needs to be invented to make parenting easier. I would love something that makes, when you have toddlers or babies that are just starting to eat, something that will clean not only the bibs, or somehow connect the bibs to the eating table or whatever, so that it will not get all over the place, that they're connected, and then it goes right into the sink. And then I don't know how you connect it with a bib of some sort, but that way it won't get all over the clothes. It won't get all over the seat. It won't get all over the floor. Some kind of way of containing that mess.
Yep. Well, hopefully that could be invented soon, because I could definitely use that nowadays. We talked about a lot of really important and great information today. So what are some of the other places where people can find you online?
Well, I have a Facebook community group called Hallie's Healthy Living, where I post healthy living tips and recipes daily. It's a great community. People are interactive and ask questions, and I'd love to have people join that group. And that group is www.facebook.com/groups/Hallie's Healthy Living. And that's spelled HALLIES, then healthy living, no spaces. So that's a great start. And then I have my websites for my health coaching, which is www.hallieshealthyliving.com. And then, of course, for my Juice Plus and Tower Garden virtual franchise, where people can reach me at www.Hallie Steinberg, that's spelled HALLIESTEINBERG.juiceplus.com. And that's great because it tells you more about our Healthy Family program, where kids can actually get Juice Plus for free. So basically, on Instagram as well, Hallie's Healthy Living for Instagram. And if you do want to find out more about my free consultation, my phone calls or virtual consultations, you can reach out through my website, Hallie's Healthy Living.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show. Thanks for tuning in to Life After Baby. We'd like to thank Hallie of Hallie's Healthy Living for joining us today. The show is a production of Crimson Planet Media, and our theme song was created by Doug Keller. Today's episode was brought to you by A Taste of Olive. A Taste of Olive sells high-quality olive oils, balsamic vinegars, and gourmet goods from artisans around the world. Visit their website at www.atasteofolive.com and enter the code FAMILY to save 10% off your total. And I bet if you visit Hallie's Facebook page, you'll find all sorts of ways to use that olive oil. When the kids are finally asleep, visit our website at www.lifeafterbabyshow.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Life After Baby Show. And don't forget to take care of yourself so you can take better care of them.